Hey, so I'm back with another live. It's Marquera the Strong here. And in my last live, I discussed how conditioning throughout life has a lasting impact on the decisions we make about and in our relationships. So I just wanted to wrap it up with a couple of examples. No, I went over examples in my last video from the Red Flag Journal. And I spoke about Ingrid and her holding on to situations longer than she should, because that was the first example of a relationship and the way she observed the behavior in the relationship. And I spoke about our little 17-year-old friend whose mom stuck it out through thick or thin, and she was doing the same thing with her first love. So I'm going to go on with the main points that I usually use as key areas in a relationship to look at are happiness, deal breakers, communication and comprehension, and cooperation. I break things down in these areas in order to make it easier to pinpoint any problems within a relationship. We know that happiness needs to be an inside job, so it shouldn't be dependent on an outside source. It can be influenced, but should not be fully dependent on your relationship. We feel a myriad of emotions in a relationship, and those are vital, but the relationship should not be your sole source of joy. And when it comes to deal breakers, we need to look at the way we were handled whenever our behavior did not line up with expectations of, firstly, whoever it was that raised us. Whoever it was who had charge over instilling principles and correctness. Mainly because, for example, in a two-parent home, you have a father and a mother, or whatever dynamic, and you have one person who's usually more forceful and more domineering and less easy to approach. And then you have the other person who is easygoing and will give more leeway. In a case where this goes too far either way, or a child learns to work either parent, you end up with a person who either gives too long a rope to a significant other in the hopes that things will improve, or we end up with someone who snaps quickly and doesn't bother to hear the other person out properly. When it comes to actions we say we don't want to tolerate, but we live with them daily, it is imperative to understand why. What are you putting up with that is not working for you? What have you snapped over that was really something that could have been discussed and worked out? Are you like the approachable parent that gives leeway and has the important discussions, or are you like the domineering parent who doesn't give second chances? Is your significant other the easygoing parent, like the over easygoing parent, or is your significant other the domineering one? Is this a dynamic that is working? Know your deal breakers, and knowing your partner's deal breakers can keep everyone on the same page and make things a bit easier to manage. With communication and comprehension, I had this just as communication when I first started the journey and putting the journal together. And then it dawned on me, in being accountable before we start blaming the other person, we should also know what type of receiver we are when our partner is communicating. This paints a clearer picture as we dig into what the communication issues could be between us. So back to the first experiences of home life. Was there a parent or parent figure that made time to listen to you, or were you brushed aside impatiently as if you were in the way? Were you heard properly, or just responded to based on them waiting for you to stop speaking so they could respond? Even when a parent got angry with you, what was that like? Were they clear in expressing why they were angry? Or did they yell? Or did they just give you silence? Look at how you interact with your partner when they want to discuss things of importance to them. So if it's something they're really, really interested in and they want to talk about it, and it's not something that particularly interests you, what's your body language like? Do you roll your eyes? Do you just sigh? Do you just listen out of obligation? We speak in so many different ways other than verbally. So when arguing, some parents have avoided doing so in front of their kids, and some have even ignored each other in front of the children. Some ignore Some argue in front of their kids and then come to resolve in front of the kids to show kids that disagreements can happen and this is how you could resolve them. There are households where it's a free for all and the kids are exposed to days where the parents just woke up and seem to have chosen violence. So can you see the impact that these type of environments would make on adults? Some partners scream and yell and get physical. Some partners shut down and give each other the cold shoulder, or one person gives the other a cold shoulder. Some feel themselves getting heated and agree to calm down and have a discussion later when they can think clearer. Reactive versus responsive. What is your output style? What is your input style? What is your partner's output style? And what is your partner's input style? Cooperation. Hello, hi. Are we on the same page? There are relationship goals and then there are life goals. I think we often see memes and posts saying, oh, relationship goals. And it's a so-called power couple jet setting here and there, dining at the finest places, drinking the most expensive whatever. And we just like, oh, hashtag relationship goals. And my question is, wouldn't that shows me what kind of couple they are? Wouldn't that shows me how he treats her or how she treats him? Is there mutual respect? Is there proper communication? Do they even live together? I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I just know that they traveling and spending money, and that could be a personal life goal. That don't have to be a relationship goal per se. I mean, it'd be good to travel with your significant other and all that, but I don't take that as like, you know what I mean? I see that as something you could come together and work towards, but the basis of the relationship should encompass other things. And so that means, therefore, career goals and desired achievements are one thing, and what I'm hoping for in this relationship is something else. The cooperation comes into play when we must navigate these things and weave them together. So children quality time together and career and goals should weave together to make one big picture. A couple can have different career paths, but make the time to pour into each other as they should in healthy relationships. The discussion about having kids, where to live, how the household will be managed is essential before moving forward to deepening your commitment to somebody. What was cooperation like growing up? What did you witness? For some, it was a forward march in accordance to whatever the adults mandated. For others, it was a mishmash of dealing with everyone's interest and making sure they attended what they needed to. In relationships, some things naturally fall into the lap of one person, and the other person adds certain things to their portfolio, and then there are a few things that fall through the cracks. In most cases, those things are shared so that the smooth running of their lives can continue. Flashback to home life. Was there one person picking up everyone's slack and eventually ending up as the go-to while everyone else was just doing their own thing? Was there enforcement of boundaries for rules and assignments? This is how we get burnt out, and this is how resentment starts to build. So what I want to do is conclude with 4 points to help you bring all of this together. Number 1, be happy and love yourself first before you get involved with anyone, no matter the situation. This will enable you to move on quicker from toxicity and dysfunction instead of staying around hoping it will get better. Number 2, set boundaries. Revise your boundaries. Express your boundaries. Then listen to your partner's boundaries and respect their boundaries. You cannot get what you do not give. Number 3, in spending quality time together, make sure you have update conversations. Have a talk about where you're at in life, personally with your goals and with your relationship goals. You cannot be on the same page or aware of another person's state of mind or emotions if you do not have these conversations. There can be no progress without being on the same page. Maybe you're a couple who often check in with each other or knows what's going on all the time, or maybe you're that busy couple that has the kids, the career, and all these things you're juggling, and sometimes head hits the pillow before you all could have a good, decent talk. That's where the quality time and the date nights and all these things come in. But you also have to have that update conversation to know, well, hey, my partner was working on doing such and such. Do I know how far they've gotten on that? Does my partner know how far I've gotten on working on what it is I'm working on? This helps, especially if I come across something that could help my partner. I wouldn't be able to grab that moment and share that with my partner if I'm not aware of what's going on with my partner. And number 4, know what kind of communicator you are and what kind of communicator your partner is. This will create an even safer space for you both to be open and fearless in expressing yourselves. There should be little to no hesitancy in going to your partner and expressing a concern, or for your partner to be able to come to you and do the same. There should be this environment of full disclosure, and there should be no, I wonder how he's going to react. I wonder what she's going to say, or she could tear my head off when I say such and such. That you cause there to be less vulnerability. Y'all know what I mean. You cause there to be less ability to communicate with each other and have that safe space to be like, I have this going on, or my partner did something I didn't like and I think we need to talk about it. And once you both know what kind of communicator the other is, it makes it easier. So thank you for joining me on this live, and this has been Markera the Strong. Until the next time.